Continuing with our story, chapter 11, the second part, or kind of after I stopped off, where Rosebud was finding out about her brother and how Isaac Woodhouse was encouraging her, that even, there's hope for her and her family. God always does the impossible, especially finding your brother, he was saying. Isaac pulled off the road at daybreak to give the horses a rest and let them munch on the grass. After eating some of the food that Mary Woodhouse had packed, Rosebud fell asleep under a tree. But a few hours later, they were on their way again. "When we go through a town, thee must sit in the back of the wagon," Isaac said. "I am sorry, but Delaware is still a slave state. We must not make anyone suspicious." Rosebud meekly submitted to this indignity. She realized that Isaac was doing it for her good. They rested the horses again in late afternoon, then started again at twilight. "We are coming near to Wilmington," Isaac told Rosebud. "That is where friend Thomas Garrett lives. That was where Mrs. Tubman was heading. He will know what has happened to thy friends." But as they drew near the city, they saw first one, then another poster with a picture of Harriet Tubman on it. "We may have trouble here," Isaac murmured. "Wilmington is so close to the state line that the slave catchers and bounty hunters will be on the alert trying to stop any runaways from getting into Pennsylvania." Rosebud was scared. She was so close to freedom. What if she got caught now? Isaac had an idea. "Rosebud, wrap thy blanket around thee and lie under the wagon seat. Try not to move and don't cough. It's dark enough. No one will see thee." Rosebud did as she was told, and at the last minute, Isaac took off his flat-brimmed Quaker hat and stuffed it under the wagon seat as well. Inside the blanket under the wagon seat, Rosebud could feel every rock and rut in the road. Gradually, there were more noises, too. Horses and carts rumbling along the road, people hailing each other, laughter from the inns along the road. "Be very quiet," Isaac murmured. "We are coming to a bridge and there are people about." "Hey, you, boy! Stop!" said a gruff voice. Under the blanket, Rosebud held her breath. "Have you seen any runaway slaves?" said the voice. It came from someone standing right beside the wagon wheel. "We're looking for a certain group of darkies. Tall, skinny man, young wench with a baby, another young man, young girl about 10 or 12. "Don't forget the fox!" yelled another voice, laughing. "You mean this one?" said Isaac. Rosebud heard the rustle of paper. Then she realized he said you instead of thee. "I see you got one of them posters," chuckled the first voice. "Yep," said Isaac. "With the kind of money being offered for that Harriet Tubman woman, I plan to start hunting as soon as I get home, right after supper." "Well, get along with you then, but don't be picking up no strangers." The wagon lurched forward and made a terrible racket as the horses clomped over the wooden bridge that led into Wilmington, Delaware. It seemed a long time before Isaac finally said, "Whoa," and then, "We can come out now. We are here." Rosebud crawled stiffly out from under the wagon seat. The wagon was pulled into a narrow alley beside what looked like a shoe shop. Isaac helped her down, and they knocked softly on a door in the back. "Who's there?" I have a small package for thee," said Isaac. He'd obviously been instructed by Harriet Tubman in Underground Railroad language. The door was unlatched, and the two young people were quickly pulled in. Rosebud saw an elderly white gentleman with a round, clean-shaven face and plump jowls. Harriet Tubman," he called happily. "Your package has arrived." Rosebud was amazed to discover that Harriet and the others had only arrived at Thomas Garrett's station the night before. She and Isaac had covered as many miles by wagon in 24 hours as the others had in 5 nights of walking. "Don't worry none, child," Mary assured her. "Ain't no way all of us could have come by wagon without getting stopped by slave catchers." The next morning, Isaac prepared to head home. But first he took Rosebud aside. "I've been thinking," he said. "Thy brother has the same name as I do. That makes us spiritual kinsfolk in a way. And, well, I've been thinking about the promise God made to Abraham, and I want to make a promise to thee." A promise? What was Isaac talking about? Isaac took a big breath. "I'm 15 now. Soon I'll be a man. But as soon as Father can spare me from the farm, I am going to find thy brother, and I will help him run away or or I will buy him and set him free. That is my promise, but thee must realize it might take a long time." Rosebud was speechless. No one had ever made her a promise before, but she believed Isaac. Someday he would help her brother be free. "Thank you, Isaac," she whispered. Tears blurred her eyes. "Oh, and something else." Isaac looked a little embarrassed. "May I call thee Rosalie? Rosebud is nice, but it seems to me the rosebud has grown up and become a flower. In fact," Isaac twisted his hat in his hands, "you are the bravest girl I have ever met." Again, Rosebud didn't know what to say. She tried the word in her mind. Rosalie. It had a nice sound, a new sound. Isaac seemed to read her mind. "You used to be Rosebud the slave, but now you could be Rosalie the free woman." Rosebud nodded. She tried it out. I am free. I am Rosalie, I am free." Then she laughed aloud. "What a wonderful sound! I am Rosalie. I am free." Still have one more chapter, chapter 12, The Freedom Train. We'll find out about that next time.